Carl here from Brrraaains Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. Horror movie review time. And, well, you've seen the title. It's this film, directed by Rhys Frake Waterfield, who also wrote the screenplay and based off, of course, the Winnie the Pooh books by A.A. Milne and E.H. Shepard. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey stars Chris Cordell, Amber Doig-Thorne, Nikolai Leon, Maria Taylor, Natasha Rose Mills, and Danielle Ronald. Now, we're no strangers here at GBHBL, the production company Jagged Edge Productions and ITN Studios, and the work they have been putting out. So we were really surprised to see such buzz surrounding the release of this movie. Audiences seemed to be wowed by the idea of a horror movie surrounding the beloved bear. It was kind of baffling. Which isn't to say that Jagged Edge Productions and ITN Studios put out non-stop rubbish, but they have certainly put out more bad movies than good. Put it this way, when I see ITN Studios come up at the beginning, I kind of get an idea of what I'm about to watch. The question is, where does Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey sit? Now, funny enough, it begins strongly, with narration and illustrations as we learn about Christopher Robin, 100 Acre Woods, and his woodland friends. When winter came, Christopher abandoned his friends, who, starving to death, turned on each other, and then grew to hate Christopher, naturally, and mankind in general. Vowing never to speak again. Pooh and Piglet, specifically those two only, now haunt the 100 Acre Woods, killing anyone who comes their way. It's implied Tigger may have died or been eaten, Eeyore as well, in the movie through narration and signs. But obviously this is quite unfortunate as we get to now, where an adult Christopher Robin has returned to 100 Acre Woods to convince his girlfriend that his memories of it are real. But she is murdered by the pairing of Pooh and Piglet, who now capture Christopher. We'll come back to him later in the movie, as will Pooh and Piglet, but right now they have fresh meat to hunt, namely a group of friends who are spending some time together in a cabin near 100 Acre Woods. And it's here that Blood and Honey slips into a much more familiar slasher territory. The friends hunted and murdered by the bloodthirsty beasts in gory and violent fashion. Can anyone stop the rampage of Winnie the Pooh? To be fair, is that a line you ever thought you'd hear? Well, expect a lot more horrors to follow suit now, as the Winnie the Pooh stories have fallen out of copyright. It is open season on these animals. We've already seen a horror short surrounding it. I expect much more, particularly because of the success, the mild success this movie has garnered. Blood and Honey, though, is a film that gets progressively worse as it goes on. Even if a game cast do the best to wring as much as possible out of what is a very bland script, it is the film's biggest problem. The story just isn't imaginative enough. In fact, outside of the opening, it just plays out like a pair of killers in cheap and near unrecognizable Pooh and Piglet masks, which obviously makes sense because the mouse has still copyright over that image of Winnie the Pooh. But not only that, the characters are extremely one-note, with only Maria Taylor having something of note to do. Even then, her past traumatic stalker experience feels more like padding than a relevant and powerful arc. Where Blood and Honey does excel is with the combination of visual shots, the woodland given a really desolate and dark feel, and the gore. This is surprisingly a film not afraid to spill the blood and expose the guts. It's quite impressive too for such a low budget offering. Don't get me wrong though, it is not enough to make this a recommended watch, as most I think will find themselves quite bored by it. And it is a bit of a shame, as with the talent involved, a good cast, a more creative script would have made this far more notable. Instead, likely within 6 months everyone will have forgotten this exists. That buzz will have died down, and everyone will have just moved on. It'll have made its money. It's already done pretty damn well as of the time of recording. So I would expect a sequel quickly. Like, it's going to come very, very quickly. But it is exactly what you expect. It isn't, though, a terrible movie, and that's a really important aspect. Maybe go with low expectations and you might come out quite surprised. That's certainly what I did. I went in with low expectations and came away thinking, all right, didn't think it was a good movie, but it wasn't outright rubbish. It is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. You got any thoughts on it? You know what to do. Let me know in the comments.
Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?